a group of Ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and fund our work
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
We are Hive Ultimate, a group of players and coaches from all over the world working together to progress the next generation of Ultimate strategy. We've helped top teams win world championships and new teams introduce the sport in a fun and inclusive way. Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn more about our cutting-edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
Enjoying the show? Show your support for the live stream and the people making the show. Buy a super chat or super sticker on YouTube directly. Select your donation and type your message to the world. And share. All donations go into directly funding new shows. Buy a super sticker or super chat now. Thank you.
Real quick sprints, take the disc briskly, sunshine glints off my frisbee crisply, knows how it goes with the sand between our toes. We got both of the pivots and all of the throws. Got to hold the disc and move it at the right time. When you flick your wrist and you're feeling sublime, compose your throws, not discuss fluttery, tricks from the brick and your biscuits buttery. Feel the spirit, stretch every sinew, stream, encourage, yeah, we continue. Take my hand, yeah, come with me, from the disc to the sand, to the beach, to the sea. There's magic in the air, all you have to do is catch it. EBUCC 2022.
Welcome back to the sand. The action in the Algarve continues here from the European Beach Ultimate Club Championships. Myself, Tom Styles, alongside Benjamin Rees, and we are in the open division with the Irish team Sandjob playing against one of the hot favourites for the tournament, Salaspils, and these two teams well matched here, and we put them on the stream especially so you can enjoy it. The pink Euro disc flies through the sky and flicking it straight downfield straight away. Going to be a bid coming in, and Tom's Abeltinge gets the touch away. So
just trying to squeeze that one down the sideline.
Fitzgerald, the target in the end zone, not able to collect it on that occasion, and the deep throw came from Corcoran. Malderis to Ort. Ben Ort, one of the three pickups for this team. A very handy one he is too. That disc is going to catch in the wind, but it's almost collected. Big pressure from McCreary in the end zone.
McCreary is always instantly recognisable because he's got that filthy mullet.
McCreary brings the disc to the front line now.
Very good defender though.
Second time of asking for the Irish side. Corcoran returns the disc to McCreary, who sends it deep. Martin gets a hand to it and brings it in. What a grab under intense pressure from Abeltinge. And they've got the goal. McCreary gets the block in one end and the assist to score.
Spicy stuff there from Sandjob. They gave the Latvians an opportunity. That shot down the sideline initially, not a huge margin for error, but at the second time of asking, a lot smoother and slicker. McCreary running the give-go in the backfield and then opening up the arm, putting a bit of air underneath it, and Martin chases it down into the end zone and snags it in with the left hand. 1-0 to Sandjob. Both of these sides went undefeated yesterday, 3 wins and 0 losses. Salaspils continued that with a strong win this morning over Saxi Divers of Leipzig, whereas for Sandjob they tasted defeat for the first time here this morning, going down 13-7 to Fendisk of Spain.
Yeah, the Spanish team's having a really good tournament here at the moment. Bernans with the big floaty one, a high grab. He can get aerial anywhere. It's Oloskis with the hockey grab right on the end zone line and a quick pop in to the 32 shirt of Ned Garvey.
How do you mark against a player like Oloskis? Because on the one hand, you know, he's such a good deep threat that you feel like, well, we can't, you know, we've got to force him underneath, but he's also got all the throws in his locker, so you want to get him away for the disc. It's really a pick your poison sort of matchup, and Bernans is never short of the ambition to throw it. Orlovskis skies for the grab, and then, as you mentioned, flips to Garvey for the goal.
The Irish team waiting to receive. The wind picking up a little bit, coming from our right and across the field towards the camera. Pretty much from the camera is pointing directly into the wind right now. And this throw from Ben Ort spirals through the sky. That's a towering disc. Comes down on the end zone line and McCreary comes to pick up. Gets the disc across to Norman. McCreary's available on the reset, but it goes back to Corcoran. Now Norman, and then McCreary again. Ben Martin comes out of the deep space to collect. Norman has it now, back to McCreary. Corcoran. Looking for options downfield, but there's nothing there, and what is there is well marked by Salaspils. Looking for an option here. Oh, McCreary had the disc at his mercy, just couldn't quite wrap the fingers around it. The disc blowing to the sand. That was I
wonder if he's just guilty of looking at the next pass there and taking his eye off the disc, and it wasn't where he thought he was.
Salaspils with Abeltinch on the far side. Elknintis gets a low disc through to Ort, parked on the end zone line. Salute gets it back to Ort, flicks it in. The flow of the Latvian team. Emels Eknitis with the goal eventually.
They're so difficult to stop because after the turn, anyone's capable of picking it up, anyone's capable of stretching the field, either with their legs or with their throws. Even though the wind's probably the strongest it has been all day, blowing towards that left-hand end zone, as we're looking at it from on top of our storage container here. But the dump goes to Ort, and he's just going to get that high release roll curving blade into the end zone to Emils Elksnitis. And that'll make it 2-1, the first break of the game. Goes the Latvians' way. I say the Latvians, the mostly Latvians' way.
Mostly Latvians. Actual assist came from a Dutch player. So the 3 pickups for Salaspils are Justin Ford. He's quite useful. Ben Ort, also useful. And Ned Garvey, the American, done a lot of writing for ULTI World.
Yeah,
also quite useful.
Based in Latvia, so he's played with Salaspils for a number of years.
Would you even count Ned Garvey as a pickup these
days?
days?
I'm not sure that I would at this point. He's full on Salaspils to me, and he was very excited at Euros talking about this weekend, knowing the strength of some of the recruits they've got back in tow.
Tuig bringing the disc in, and Jones on the disc. Steege with the cat hound. Keenan with the disc now. Looks for the deep shot. Doyle chasing it down over the top. Oh, brilliantly read, brilliantly sprinted down. Impressive turn of speed, leveling it up at 2 apiece.
Sometimes, you know, you want to draw these complicated plays, get nice flowing offense, and there are sometimes you just want to bring it into the brick mark and bang it. And when it works, you know, why not, I guess. Sandjob pulling us level with some good old-fashioned Route 1 ultimate.
Yeah, Keenan with the assist. But the Luke Doyle running deep and taking that one in. Just to make our lives a bit more interesting, you'll notice that the Irish side are all wearing the same number. So we're very grateful to have Kieran up here with us, helping a little bit with the identification from the team.
I'm assuming that they just didn't all have matching jerseys, so they bought whatever they could find at the strip that was all coordinated.
It was the cheapest ones, yes. They're all wearing Atlanta jerseys, but it's a good look.
Why Atlanta in Portimão? I don't know.
Orloskis in the middle of the field. Salaspils advancing. Ned Garvey takes that cross cut. Bit of switching from the Irish. On the far side is Ford. Bert Manis. Low disc to Orloskis. Big gain of yards. Garvey sprints off into the end zone. It gets flipped into his path. Oh, it didn't quite get the hand around the disc. He was thinking about the line. He was thinking about jumping in. He didn't think enough about controlling the disc. And it's a turnover to the Irish and a chance for them to break upwind.
He'll be frustrated with that one. They might need a new disc.
Did he squash it as he landed there?
I think he might well have done. So the replacement fluorescent pink Euro disc is coming back into play.
McCreary to Martin. It's a big, fast cut down the line. Well marked though, some good switching from Salaspils. McCreary gets the disc. Oh, a block! The hands of Gert Bertmanis says no. That disc is not passing here. Salaspils with a chance to score their offensive point with Ford now. Orloskis looks into the end zone. Looks back for that reset to Bertmanis. Ford available on the front of the end zone. No one to continue the cut. Gets McCreary out of the way with a little shuffle of the shoulders. And Orloskis makes himself available. Ford connects. And second time of asking, Salaspils with a hold.
Yeah, not perfect there from the Latvian O-line, but they were able to earn the disc back thanks to that thunderous hand block from Gid Spentmanis. And yeah, just calmly flowing it around the end zone. They had Garvey there. He was kind of trying to draw defenders out of that space that they wanted to attack. And the handler running through. A little drop of the shoulders there from Justin Ford. And the offhand lefty into Arvid Zanis-Orlovskis will get it done to make it 3-2.
Now, Ford and Orlovskis were involved in that bronze medal match out in the World Ultimate Club Championships in Cincinnati this year, where Orlovskis and two of the other Latvian players were all playing for the Mooncatchers. Mooncatchers taking home a brilliant fourth place. Widely celebrated as one of the most exciting teams in Cincinnati. Norman starts now for the Irish team. Corcoran and Keenan on the far side. There's a big shot going up. Doyle chasing it down. He's going to get there. Is he going to get there? He's going to have to work hard. Oh my goodness. Luke Doyle with the rocket boosters strapped on for the full half length of the pitch. Could not quite eat up enough sand, and it disappears for a Salaspils possession.
I think even the hardest of Salaspils fans would probably admit there's a part of them that really wanted Doyle to get that, because it would have been sensational.
I think if the wind hadn't been quite so stiff, Doyle might have had a chance to reel it in, but going downwind with that much pace on the disc as well, it was never going to happen. Ort. Eltnitis. Malderis. Malderis with the scuba into the end zone. Ort rises and grabs and smacks it to the ground.
That's Didzis all over, isn't it? Malderis loves to be creative with his choice of throws, play with a bit of pomp and swagger at times. Going with the scuba in this wind, it's a tricky throw, and you can see that it's a real high degree of verticality on it, but Ort reads it well, hops it into the end zone for another Salaspils break.
Yeah, we had Didzis Malderis as part of our commentary team earlier in the season at Tom's Tourney in Belgium, and very, very widely liked. He brought a different flavour to the commentary. He was recovering from an ankle injury at the time. Definitely one of the fans' favourites.
He's a good lad.
Blogs incredibly frequently. or vlogs. Lots of insight into what Didzis gets up to. Another Ben Ort spiralling pull lands next to Dean McCreary. Corcoran now, and there was a big bid coming in there. And Salaspils have got a couple of players out of position now as a deep shot goes up. Fitzgerald underneath it, a touch, just the lightest of touch from Ben Ort.
Almost like playing a little bit of Macline, not thundering it away, but just, you know, the deft little tip round the corner, and it got enough pace to take it out the back of the end zone. This Salaspils lineup, everyone's capable of making those plays.
Yeah, Sean Fitzgerald was in a good spot, but the ever-present tall, athletic figure of Ben Ort just doing enough. The wind has really got up now. At the start of the day, the first 3 games were played in near still conditions. It's anything but that now. Whistling across the top of our commentary container.
Desperately trying to run away with our parasol.
Salute gets it across to Abeltinch. Abeltinch now finds Ort in the centre of the field. There's a big cut set off, but it's been well covered by McCreary. Flowing up the line now. Jurgensens gets it via Ort to Abeltinch. Back around now to Fryer Onderups. Ort. Oh, what a little touchy flow. The barbecue backhand with just a perfect amount of weight and pace laid into the front corner.
And some sizzle on the grab as well from Abeltinch. Going with that trailing edge layout always makes me a little bit nervous, but he executed it well. Here was the tip. Look at the height Ort's getting off the sand there. It's not a huge amount that Fitzgerald can do about it. And then just calmly working it around, waiting for the opportunity to strike into the end zone. Ort sees it, forces a little bit far off, and what a snatch that is from Tom Abeltinch.
Yeah, Ort scoring at one end, assisting at the other. 2 breaks in a row for the Latvian team, and Sandjob got a mountain to climb from here. As Didzis Maldavis spirals that one into the Portuguese breeze. Steege on the disc. Keenan sends it deep. Grady chasing it down, but it was always going beyond the receiver. And again, that breeze causing difficulty with the deep shots for the Irish team here.
Yeah, we saw this pattern in a lot of the games yesterday, where it's really tricky to weight the throws properly going in that end zone, because the wind really does pick it up and motor it past. Justin Ford's going to jog this to the front of the end zone to bring it in.
Ford, bronze medal from the World Ultimate Club Championships with Clapham. Borgurskis gets it back to Ford. Casually flicks across to Garvey. Garvey weighs the options deep, decides not to take them. Ford trying to get through, but good defence from the Irish. Doyle making life difficult for the number 28 shirt, Justin Ford. This time, no hesitation from Eltnitis, sends that one, but it's caught in the breeze. And Tuig is present. Andrew Tuig in the 3 shirt. Well, in the 93 shirt, they're all the same. Gets the touch. Both these teams trying to take deep shots when perhaps the breeze is not built for that.
Yeah, Eriks Podgorskis is was the target, but as you mentioned, really good defence there, knocking it away. Played with Salaspils, the Wild Things, and as well with Ventspils in his hometown. Huge layout D, tipped by Garvey into the hands of Malderis.
Borgurskis now, having got the disc back. What can they do? Oh, into the end zone. And Malderis with the goal.
Are we calling that a bookends? He didn't get the enormous layout, but he was there to catch the second opportunity to make sure that there was no Sandjob player lurking to rescue it. And then that is a trust throw. When it's put up, there is such a fine margin that this throw can be completed. And Malderist absolutely streaks through it. There's the huge layout block from Garvey. Malderist mops up. And he's only kind of, I think, probably got one thing in mind. Centres to Podgorskis, just a little stutter step, maybe once, twice to get the defender biting towards that break side. Throw goes up nice and early. Curls round the defender. And Malderist sprints through for a 6-2.
Just remind me one more time, Benji, the assistant score there.
That was Eriks Podgorskis to Didzis Malderis.
So 6-2 the score. Big bid coming flying in. Caught a bit of the leg as well. It's Oloskis. And Ben Martin puts the hands behind the head to signal an injury. He's going to have to take a sub there.
Sam Murphy's not a bad player to bring on. He was the Open Division MVP at EUCF. And I saw him doing a lot of heckling of some of the other Irish teams in the YouTube chat yesterday.
I flew over a late arrival on this Irish team, Murphy.
Not a bad addition to get.
McCreary. That one just drifts beyond him into the wind. Oloskis, Abletinch. Low flick, needs a big grab. Not big enough, Ort. And they've got to put that down as a throwaway from Abletinch. Really didn't need to throw it. Plenty of other players available. Went for the shot and it was just too much pepper on it.
Yeah, the middle of the field opened up and he threw this one right down the strip. But again, it's the pace of the wind. It just picks up a little bit of speed and Ort can't quite catch up to it. I don't mind the look, but I think you just need to take a little bit off that.
Norman has it back again now. McCreary on the far side. Corcoran makes the great cut up the line. Murphy. And almost dancing in at the front corner. Big cut comes down from McCreary. Coming out of the end zone now. Cross field, but straight into the hands of Jurgensen, who waits, and a travel called.
I imagine that they'll retract this and they'll let the turnover stand. Stall count rising, nothing available on that far sideline. So had to go all the way across the end zone, and the Salaspils baited that and were sitting in that middle area.
Oloskis. Now they send the deep shot. Oloskis chasing it down, gonna have to be a big bid, and just maybe misread that. He gets a mouthful of sand for his trouble, just manipulating the jaw to release the Portimão sand out of the mouth.
Yeah, it just kind of never quite got up to top speed, which on sand, probably quite understandable. Looking like another injury sub, Oloskis is going to have to make way. They're going to bring on Ned Garvey as the replacement.
Yes, laying out on the sand, it does have a really difficult... you never slide across the sand. It always kind of absorbs your energy, and that if you're going at full speed, a layout on grass, you'll often just kind of skim across the surface. That doesn't happen in sand. You dig in, you slow down very quickly, and Oloskis taking that full impact on his chest is going to be really uncomfortable. So can Sandjob do anything about this run of breaks that Salaspils have got? They were 2-all at one point. Salaspils scored the hold and then 4 breaks in a row. Norman has it, now gets it to McCreary. Doyle available on the reset. Disc goes down to Murphy. Murphy waits and boxes and eventually takes the disc down in the end zone. A little conversation about the contact made, but no question about who scored the point. It is a point to Sandjob.
I think Ort and Murphy are actually going to have the discussion here.
Well, if anything, I thought it was Ort that made contact with Murphy, and I think that's what how the conversation's gone as well. Certainly a point to the Irish.
So I think that makes it 6-3 by my count. A couple of opportunities there to cash in the break for half the Salaspils. Couldn't get it done on either occasion. First with that turnover to Ort from Appletinch that was driven through the end zone, and then Orlovskis trying to catch up to the Huck, but didn't get there.
So score in the end zone. Ranelagh connection.
Yeah, there's a very large Ranelagh contingent on this Sandjob roster.
Ford flicks deep. Garvey just runs free. Brilliant play from Salaspils. They take the half, 7-3.
A very accomplished half, not that we'd expect anything else based on what we've seen from Salaspils so far this weekend. Maybe, I think, living up to their hype as one of the favourites to take home the crown here in Portimão.
A brilliant first half from the Latvian team. There's no big pause at half-time here at the European Beach Ultimate Club Championships. The teams will just swap ends, and as Sandjob started on offense, it'll be Salaspils that begin this second half, and they are going up into the wind as the second half gets underway.
Salaspils trying to do the old 2 for 0, where you get 2 possessions back to back without the opponent having it. Desperately fighting with the parasol.
Real first world problems, Benj.
That is a hell of a pull that pins Betmanis right on the back of his own end zone.
Kasparans gets the disc out, and now it's in the hands of Bernans. Gets it to Ford. Ford looks up, and then the Oloskis eventually comes sprinting across. Does eventually find the target he was looking for it from the start. Bernans was the player he was looking for, but Manis in the end zone. Salaspils scoring into the wind with ease.
McCreary is a shutdown defender, but Betmanis kind of took his lunch money on that one and left him trailing in the sand. Of course, we can't really talk about the Irish and without mentioning that sensational EUCF performance from Ranelagh, beating Clapham for the first time in their history en route to in the final for the gold medal. Best ever finish for an Irish team at EUCF. But the Irish have kind of been a programme on the rise for a few years. Think about how there's an ever seemingly increasing number of Irish teams at UK Nationals since it became EUCR West. Not just the old guard in terms of Ranelagh and Pelt, but teams like XVI, Tribe coming over as well as Rebel, representing in numbers as of recent years.
The Irish in the middle of the end zone after another good pull to Doyle. Tuig looking for options. Chasing it down, big the touch from Ben Ort, who takes a clattering collision across the back of his legs and just jumps up, brushes it off.
Ort's got all the throws, and he's got all the athleticism as well.
Very interesting to see Ort playing in the open division. So used to seeing him as part of the Groot side, the Dutch young mixed team that have been so dominant in Europe for the last few years. Salute. Malderes. Oh, it's not Malderes, it's Jurgensen's. They look very similar with they certainly go to the same barber. Ort. Oh, brilliant. Pivoting away, falling away, and eventually releasing a floaty disc straight into the path of Bruno Jurgensen's. And another point goes the way of Salaspils. I mean, this Irish team have looked good, but Salaspils look in a completely different league right now.
They are firing on all cylinders here. The boys from the Baltic. This was the turnover, a little bit of an overthrow, the adjustment, and just about gets the fingertips to it. And then on the turn, doing it with the disc in his hands as well. Jurgensen's breaking down the line. Ort just toes the sideline, good field awareness there. And then the quick release, he's so good at that one, getting it out before the mark has time to adjust. Down the line, waiting that one brilliantly for Jurgensen's to make it 9-3.
Well, on a team full of all-stars, Ort has found his role very, very nicely. 3 assists, 2 blocks and a goal for the number 9. The young Dutchman clearly carving his name into a new division here, and it's a straight throwaway. Malderis had to do nothing other than walk onto that one. As Salaspils lurk now, Ford just dancing it into the front corner. The pass from Onderups, a little bit too easy, and the Irish heads dropping. They don't want to give away points that simply.
Against a team of this quality, the last thing you want to be doing, as you mentioned, is just giving them those easy ones, because you know that they're going to capitalise. And we'd mentioned in these short games, you know, all of a sudden the points can rack up quick, and that one's thrown straight to Malderis. And Salaspils on a short field. Good night.
Yeah, Onderups with the assist, Ford with the goal. Ford with 2 assists already in the game. It's hard to see any other teams getting close. We had a really impressive game in the Open Division earlier, myself and Benji covering Murciélagos, the Valencian beach specialist. They practice 2 or 3 times a week on the sand, and I think that would be a very interesting match to see that team play against Salaspils. Very different styles of ultimate.
Yeah, I also keeping an eye on a potential pool rematch later in the bracket with Salaspils up against Fendisk.
Steege on the disc now for Sandjob. Tuig just drops the disc in the middle of the end zone. What a gift. They're beating themselves at the moment here.
They're getting a look at the disc. I think they've decided that it's all okay. But because they were saying, have they stopped? Yes, no. We'll just walk into the front of the end zone.
Doyle just checking he wasn't establishing a pivot there. They couldn't possibly establish a pivot there. Big bid required. Big bid delivered. Martin Salute getting horizontal for the grab in the end zone for the goal, and they move within 2 of the game.
Yeah, Salite has represented Salaspils in the Open and in the mixed division, also represented Sirocco in mixed as well, but as well as Ogre, which is the club that he and his friends founded back home when they started playing, although that might be Ogre. I must admit my knowledge of Latvian geography, not great, I'll be honest.
Did want to say hello to his parents, his brother and his friends, Toms and Ivor.
He is a machine that runs on kebabs and bad jokes. So by the sounds of it, I think he'd fit in well with ULTI.TV.
He might fit in well with Sandjob as well, I think, if you have a chance to pick up with them. Murphy, Fitzgerald underneath it, and there it is. They had it in the locker all along, and Sandjob scored downwind with a long pass.
Murphy was a phenom at EUCF, whether he was, you know, getting the blocks, whether he was doing it with his throws as he did on that point, or some outrageous grabs on the sideline that thankfully our ULTI.TV crew captured to perfection. This time it's just a big flick across the field. It's really difficult to judge both the distance vertically and horizontally, because you want to make sure that it's not going too far, you're not getting too much edge on it to take it out of the other sideline, but with no force. He just judges this one to perfection.
Disc flying high. Salaspils starting at the back, downwind. 2 points for the game. Aloskis going deep. Aloskis staying on that sideline. Eventually he does receive the disc. Onderups is the target in the end zone. No, there's 3 players in the end zone. One of them is Onderups, but that one, I think the eventual target was Janice Bonanz, but the disc didn't find him.
Speaking about how difficult that shot across the field is, saw turnovers with it earlier, and we saw it again there. Just the wind keeps it running a little bit hot and doesn't give Bonanz really a chance to make the play.
Jones comes to collect on the sideline. Steege.
Just the 5th turnover this game for the Latvians.
Tuig. Keenan collects, but Aloskis was there, and it's a turnover back to Salaspils. Can they put it in at the second time of asking? Bert Manis overcooks it this time. Onderups the target. It goes out of bounds.
First point in this game where the Latvians have turned it over on multiple occasions. Bert Manis, the window is there for the inside out, but he really rips it against the wind and does not give Onderups any shot at it.
Walking up to the line now. Sandjob with possession.
Just establishing that
Jones on the sideline.
it went out of that sideline, so yeah, bringing it right in on that front cone.
Doyle, Keenan. Grady now. Back to Doyle. Doyle flicks inside, but that's not the edge he wanted on the disc, and it disappears into the sand away from the receiver. Keenan.
Doyle played his college ultimate at the University College Cork with UCC Skultimate, as they were back in the day.
Garvey now. Greensboro, North Carolina native, sends the disc into the end zone. Aloskis needing to bid and having had a real blow to the chest as he laid out earlier. Didn't fancy the second chance to wind himself. Stays on his feet. The team seem to have got the game wrapped up, but I do see this happen occasionally when a team have got a massive lead. They just need to put the game to bed. That perhaps the clinical play that's got them into the lead suddenly disappears and they start making some loose, unnecessary errors, Benji.
Yeah, closing it out. Maybe you just think in your mind, the game's already done. You don't need to worry. And a timeout called here by Jones is going to give Sandjob a chance to get a little bit of a breather with a point that is grinding on a little bit. And Steege lies down exhausted in the sand. I think that probably gives us a good opportunity to get a bit of a breather, Tom.
It certainly does. We'll be back after these messages.
Enjoying the show? Show your support for the live stream and the people making the show. Buy a super chat or super sticker on YouTube directly. Select your donation and type your message to the world. And share. All donations go into directly funding new shows. Buy a super sticker or super chat now. Thank you.
Welcome back to the European Beach Ultimate Club Championships from Portimão on the Algarve here in Portugal. Myself, Tom Stiles, alongside Benji Rees and Salaspils with an 11-4 margin across the Irish team Sandjob.
No sniggering at the back there. Of this timeout, looking like a vertical set, 3 players downfield.
Keenan collects that rapid-fire disc and immediately sends the deep shot. Doyle's the target, and Doyle collects, using the athleticism to get free. Jink of the shoulders, trying to find a way through. Flicks it back to Steege, into the end zone. And Keenan collects for Sandjob. Really accomplished offensive play downfield after that timeout. And they're going to come back down on defense and also downwind.
Yeah, that's a break, the first of the game for the Irish lads. Off the timeout, they had a clear play drawn up. The stack splits apart, a little bit of a zip almost. Someone comes underneath. They get the deep shot then, going to Doyle and just outside the end zone. Stays calm, rather than looking, it does annoy me when players make the catch, they're clearly the deepest player, and they look at the end zone when everyone else is behind them, turns around, gets that dish off, and then continues for the give-go into the end zone, and that makes it 11-5.
Yeah, you were out in Carole, Benji. What was the atmosphere out there with the Irish team winning, beating Clapham? Was there quite an upset for them, or
enormous? Given that every time they've played this season, it's not even been close, really. And I think it's the first time ever that Ranelagh have beaten Clapham. So that's back-to-back visits to Carole that have ended in silver medals for the powerhouse, as Ford leaps that one into Ort. Murphy just like, yeah, go on then.
Yeah.
12-5.
And maybe just in enjoying a chance to get the Irish team back in your box, having lost.
I'll be honest. I don't think Sandjob could have got bageled this game, and I don't think they'd mind too much. Have it with the ECF gold in many of their pockets. It was, you know, for them, it was a long season that was always culminating in building up to Euros. I think that was always the target in mind. Obviously, not to say that they didn't care about Worlds, but they had very much had EUCF as their end goal. And for Clapham, it's so difficult trying to hit that, you know, that peak of we want to do strongly at Worlds, which they did, a bronze medal, phenomenal performance. We want to make sure that we're UK champions again, and we want to get Euros, and just maybe ran out of steam at the very, very last. But Ranelagh were phenomenal that game. Sam Murphy played like a man possessed. Ferdy Rogers was a rock in the backfield, getting other players stepping up. Jack McNamara, Dean McCreary, yeah, a fully deserved gold medal.
Keenan being asked the big question, comes up with a disc in his hand and a face full of sand as well. Then sends the deep shot down. Doyle the chase. Oh, Doyle couldn't quite get there. Playing on fumes at the moment, but maybe the execution isn't quite what it needs to be. Strolling towards the disc, Eric Podgurskis comes to collect for Salaspils, and a chance to take the game now. This Latvian team, perhaps the favourites for the tournament now from this early game performance. Ort sets off to the end zone. Maldaris goes round, flicks to Maldaris now. Into the end zone, Ort the target. Ort collects at the back. Benjamin Ort, his third point of the game. He's had 3 assists and 2 blocks as well. An outstanding performance from the number 9 shirt, the young Dutchman. Typically found with Grut, picking up with Salaspils this weekend and adding to their stellar lineup. Hot potential. Benji, brilliant performance for the Latvians. Can they go all the way?
You'd be brave to bet against them. There are a lot of good teams in this division. Murcia Lagos, Fendisk, Mighty Hucks were also undefeated yesterday and this morning, and they're currently tied at 9s with Murcia Lagos, by the way. So they will have some strong competition, but Salaspils could well go all the way. I wouldn't bet against them.
Well, we've just got a moment here to say hello to Kieran. Just been playing with Sandjob this weekend, and just reflect a little bit on the Irish team and what they're hoping to get out of this weekend.
Yeah, we're a new crew put together. A lot of players from Ranelagh, Pelt and XVI, just coming out here having a bit of fun, trying to get as far as we can, hopefully make a few quarters, make a few upsets as well.
Thanks, Kieran. And Kieran's been helping us with every single name, because all of the Sandjob team, despite having numbers on their roster, all wear 93 on their back, just to kind of make it as hard as it possibly could be for us. But thanks for coming up here and helping us out, Kieran. Really appreciate your time. And if you were enjoying that game, do give us a little like. It helps Google's algorithm understand what awesome content we're putting out here on ULTI.TV. And if you really liked the content on ULTI.TV and you want to keep supporting it, then you can either use the super chat function, which allows you to chat with money added, or you can become a regular donator to the ULTI.TV fund, and for the price of a cup of coffee, help grow the sport of Ultimate by directly supporting that on patreon.com. So patreon.com/ULTI.TV, and for the price of a cup of coffee each month, you can make a big difference to the ability of ULTI.TV to provide even more coverage in 2023. From myself, Tom Stiles, and from Benji Rees, we are looking forward to the next game, which is Tequila Boom Boom versus Yaka in the women's division, with Hannah Pendlebury and the delightful Rachel Toshnerova back on the microphone for that one. But until then, from Portimão and the Algarve, it's goodbye from the European Beach Ultimate Club Championships.
The ultimate things in life are free, and we're keeping it that way. Subscribe to keep up with the latest games, tournaments, and community content. Share it with your team and friends, and drop a like to help spread Ultimate to more people. Spread the word, spread the love. ULTI.TV.
We believe mixed is the best for the sport, for the world. That's why we're making a global showcase, starting in Europe, made in Amsterdam. ULTI.League. ULTILeague.net.
ULTI.TV lyrical.
Merci beaucoup.
ULTI.TV.